Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below. Your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any Watchbox platform. Please email me directly. Email tmosso@thewatchbox.com for pricing. Launched in 2011, this is the Kari Voutilainen Vingt-8, the 28, 39 millimeters in white gold. It's 11.4 millimeters thick from lug tip to lug tip, 47.9 millimeters with a standard 20 millimeter spacing between the lugs. We'll throw this lovely watch on my 16 centimeter circumference wrist and get a sense of how it fits. Voutilainen, of course, making a few dozen watches a year out of his manufacturer in Moitié, one of the premier independent watchmakers in the business today, long paid to create movements for others and watches for others. Today, he operates mostly on his own, building the watches that he considers to be the optimum in sports, dress, and versatile styles. Now, this watch will fit easily on a wrist as small as 13.5 centimeters circumference. As you will note, it's relatively flat to fit underneath the cuff and short across the wrist with these lovely cowhorn or teardrop lugs. So taking a quick look at the hardware and the software, this is, of course, a factory Kari Voutilainen strap in brand new condition, brown calfskin on the bottom, black semi-gloss large rectangular scale alligator leather on the top with some bolstering to give it volume. It features a folded edge with a monotone black stitch and then a Voutilainen polished and satinated matching white gold pin buckle. And you can see that it has these lovely tapered flanks to match the profile of the lugs. The case will be familiar to Voutilainen fans as he's used it across a number of watches, including the Masterpiece series as well as the Vingt-8, and it's a handsomely handcrafted case. As you can see that the lugs are welded to the case. This is old school case craft, and while that by itself doesn't necessarily entail extreme artisanal attention to detail and effort, the fact that the joint is so sharp and there is such a clear break between the lugs and the case means that this was a very difficult hand finish to create that sharp break between two sculpturally separate surfaces. The mid case is rounded, the case back is domed, and so is the bezel. You can see a simple unbranded knurled crown, and you will note on the reverse side there's a little curve so you can more easily dig in your nail underneath the crown to pull it out. We have a lovely dial built on a sterling silver dial base with several different types of guilloche. We have a lovely hobnail outboard underneath the applique tri-Arabic numeral hours and indices. We have a crosshatch for the small seconds, and then we have incredible rosette at the center, and these are created alternately using straight line machines as we would for the hours as well as the small seconds, and then a rose lathe for the center, and this is all done by hand. This is hand guilloche, and the result made on sterling silver would then be blue galvanized to create what you see here. The Voutilainen hands are crafted by, yes, the hand. You can do this when you're only making a few dozen watches a year. So you can see that the shafts and the blued ends are actually different parts that are manually assembled. You can also see how dramatically rounded the shafts are and how three-dimensional these hands are. These aren't simple stamped or cut hands. There's a lot of hand finishing done to give them 3 dimensions and real volume, as well as the contrasting two-tone execution. You can also see that the cannon pinion at center has been high polished. Caliber 28 on the reverse side, rose gold gilded and magnificently finished. We'll start with the transmission of power through the crown wheel. The crown wheel is black polished on its top. The ratchet wheel atop the barrel is black polished on its mirrored center, and then it has this dramatic solarization across its outer surface. The click spring and the click are hand finished. The click in particular is all black polish, and if you look at the teeth of the crown wheel and the ratchet wheel, you can see that, and I'm going to do my best to show this, they're individually hand beveled internally. That's right, the teeth of the wheels are internally hand beveled. Now we have a traditional pocket watch style center wheel architecture. You can see all the bridges have been frosted. I'm not sure whether Voutilainen uses a wire brush or the acid method, but it is a very traditional pocket watch style frosting. All screw heads are black polished on their tops, finished up with a diamond paste. They have chamfered slot and circumference executed manually. You could see on this watch the anglage is a mile wide and visible and enjoyable without a loop. You can also see that the edge of the barrel bridge has been satinated on its sheer sides. All of the wheels including the solid gold center wheel, are internally beveled, spokes and internal circumference, and then you can see that the finger train, that is the third wheel, the fourth wheel, and then the escape wheel leading down to the escapement, they feature these sharp interior angles, that is the sharp angle where two rounded bevels meet, that is very difficult to achieve, as tough as achieving black polish. You can also see that there are bolted individual numbering and nameplates that are made of solid gold and held in place by polished screws, and then we have a full balance bridge with a free-sprung index to better brace against shock and support the balance wheel. And then you can see that we have a Phillips outer curve. We have an overcoil hairspring with a Phillips outer curve and then a Grossman inner terminal curve. So it's not just one curve, it's two. And the point of that is to allow the hairspring to breathe concentrically in any physical position. Any position on your wrist, any position on your dresser at night. That is the point of having two curves to center the mass of the hairspring as close as possible to the balance staff. Because it is free sprung with a full bridge, it's well braced against shock, and it'll also take and hold a precise adjustment in the face of bumps and concussions. You can see there are two blued, fire blue, direct impulse escape wheels. There is no Swiss lever. This uses a version of the 1802 Breguet natural escapement. So two escape wheels, each of which impulses the balance in its direction of travel to and fro. So the balance is only and always impulsed in its direction of travel. There isn't a complex reversing of the momentum by lever as you'll find with a Swiss lever. And you can see that these are proprietary hairspring, escape wheel, and balance architectures, and that the balance bridge for the entire oscillating structure is both black polished and continuously rounded all the way around. You can also see that the pillars for the balance bridge have been black polished, and they're sort of hyperboloid shape that's hand executed. Now it beats away at 18,000 vibrations per hour, or 2.5 hertz, and it has a 65-hour manual wind power reserve, all of this pivoting on 21 joules. It's 30 meters water resistant, but please, really, don't take it swimming. And if you look carefully, you can see that there's no obvious transmission between the third wheel and the escape wheels. There's actually a big open gulf, and though you can see the bridge for the fourth wheel, you can't actually see the fourth wheel. That's hidden underneath the dial to better open up the case back for viewing and appreciation through a loop. You have a better and more clear view of the mechanism and the bowels of the mechanism down to the escape wheels. This is as good as it gets, guys. Handcrafted, rare, and beautiful, inside and out, artistically and technically. Reach out to T Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details.